timely information based on what we know now about the May 19th primary and the August 11th special primary election. Most importantly, primary election day on May the 19th is still happening, and it is very important. The May 19th primary election will go forward as planned, and I want Alabama voters to be prepared to vote on Tuesday, May the 19th. A federal court order had previously required Alabama to use a court-mandated congressional map. As of yesterday, May the 11th, the Supreme Court of the United States lifted that requirement. That means Alabama will now move forward using its own 2023 legislatively enacted congressional map. The May 19th primary includes many important races, including numerous statewide constitutional offices, local races, state legislative and judicial races, as well as statewide constitutional amendments. All of these will proceed as normal, and the results will be tabulated, canvassed, and certified. Certain congressional races will be handled differently in accordance with the governor's proclamation. Congressional districts 1, 2, 6, and 7 are affected. Votes cast in those congressional races on May the 19th will be tabulated and made public. However, per Act 2026-612, votes for those races will be void for purposes of determining the party nominee. Per Governor Ivey's proclamation, there will be a special primary election on Tuesday, August the 11th, 2026 for congressional districts 1, 2, 6, and 7. Only. There will be no runoff for the August 11th special primary. The candidate who receives the greatest number of votes will be the party nominee of that party or of that primary election. Qualifying for congressional district 1, 2, 6, and 7 with the political parties will begin on May the 20th. The qualification deadline with the parties is Friday, May the 22nd, 2026 at 5 p.m. The parties will certify their qualified candidates to the Secretary of State by noon on Tuesday, May the 26th, 2026. Petitions for independent candidates and minor parties for special primary election are due by 5 p.m. on August the 11th. Here's what I want every Alabama voter to remember. Go vote on May the 19th. Votes for statewide constitutional offices, local races, state legislative and judicial races, as well as statewide constitutional amendments will count on May the 19th. If you live in congressional districts 1, 2, 6, and 7, your vote for those races on August the 11th will decide those races. I have complete confidence in Alabama's elections officials as we carry out both the regular 2026 election cycle and this special primary election. I appreciate the hard work already done by all of those probate judges, all of those circuit clerks and absentee election managers, all those sheriffs, all those boards of registrars all around the state of Alabama. And I want to especially thank the team inside the Alabama Secretary of State's office. As more information becomes available, I will share it as quickly as possible with Alabama voters. Again, May the 19th remains the 2026 primary election day. Be sure to vote that day. I'll now open it up for some questions. Make sure you announce your name and your organization if you've got any questions. Okay, I'll come back to you.
Will it be a special election also for State Senate District 25 and 26?
That is still under litigation. That's still under litigation. At this moment, there is no special election for those Senate states.
And you've been listening to Secretary of State Wes Allen there, just making sure voters know that next week, May 19th, you will still be going to cast your vote, and that will be for state elections and local elections, clarifying, though, that those congressional seats will be later on in August.
Yeah, he said if you cast your ballot in that one, that those races would be void, and then you'll vote again in August during that special primary election. And he also gave a very important date for candidates wanting to run, that they need to qualify by August 10th. And of course, we're going to continue to have your coverage on this story throughout the day.
Yeah, make sure you stay here with Fox 10 News as we continue your coverage. And of course, we're going to check in with our local Alabama political correspondent, Jessica Umbro, in the next half hour to get a live update from her.
She will also bring you the very latest on fox10tv.com, so stay with us.
Well, here in Mobile, City Council following through today on a plan to embark on the largest road paving campaign in the city's history. The council approving a contract with Harwell and Company to do the work. It's a little more than $11.3 million. Fox 10's Brendan Kirby is in the news center with continuing coverage on this. And Brendan, we talked about it last week. This is part of a broader initiative.
Yeah, that's right, Shelby. This is part one, which covers most of the city. Next week, the council will consider a separate contract for District 6 in West Mobile. Together, the city will spend more than $17 million. This money is coming from the capital improvements plan that is funded by a 1-cent sales tax, first passed in 2010. Hundreds of roads are in line for repaving. It's got the enthusiastic support of all 7 council members. Councilman Corey Penn, who represents parts of Midtown and Northern Mobile, says the work is long overdue.
Of course, you want to make sure that the city of Mobile have the best roads, and so being able to provide this type of service to our city, we hear it all the time. So many potholes. Why not just fix the street? And that's what we're doing. Our goal is to make sure we have quality of life for our residents.
Work is set to begin after Memorial Day. They hope to finish it up in about 15 to 16 months. Reporting live in the news center, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
Mobile City Council voting on several drainage and stormwater projects today. The city says the work is part of a larger effort to improve infrastructure and reduce flooding across the port city. The council approved several drainage, vegetation, and debris removal across different parts of the city, including areas near Halls Mill, Hillcrest, University Boulevard, and Fenwick Roads.
The drainage on today's agenda is to address the pop-up emergency calls we get through our 311 system and through other means, and this addresses the hard infrastructure. The improvements we hope to see is improved drainage, less flooding of the streets, and so this will help the overall infrastructure.
The work builds from efforts of the city stormwater department, which is responsible for clearing and maintaining ditches that handle above ground water flow. Well, we certainly made a dent in the rain deficit. The sun's trying to come out behind those gray, dark looking clouds. It's definitely a humid Tuesday too.
I know, I was giggling because of the contrast and the dark clouds and the happy clouds, and just a little different there. But last night my favorite kind of rain came through, and it was that rain you sleep to. It was probably like 11 o'clock when I went to sleep, and I could hear it just pitter-pattering out there. Jason.
Yeah, occasional rumbles of thunder, but nothing severe, and we picked up quite a bit of rain last night.
Good.
Yeah, we needed it, and now we're going to have a drying trend, but there's still a few showers going on now in the area. I know we have a mixture of sunshine and clouds. You guys talked about some of the darker clouds, and some of those are producing rain in a few areas. It's mainly over the coastal sections and the east side of the area. We've had some little small showers even in Mobile, but you get down around Dolphin Island, a little bit of rain there, and we have showers all throughout Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, Destin. A little ways to go before we totally clear. You see, we just had a pop-up storm move across Dolphin Island. 1 or 2 showers still going on there. A little bit of light shower activity coming off around Point Clear there. It's very, very small. These are brief showers. They're moving quickly. This is more of a large area of rain, and it is causing for really kind of a gloomy day, really much different over the eastern eastern side of the area. Pensacola, we've got rain around. You got more about to push into town. Garcon Point seeing the showers. Fort Walton Beach, Eglin, Destin, Crestview all dealing with rain for a little while longer. Our futurecast shows that by 8 p.m. most of it will be over with. There still could be a couple of isolated showers around, and then we're going to clear off over most of the area overnight, and some cooler weather is moving in. Overnight lows will be in the low 60s tonight, so I expect an outstanding start to the day tomorrow on your Wednesday. Here's your forecast, and we're going to see a few isolated showers and temperatures dropping off pretty sharply. We'll be getting into the mid 60s by midnight or so it will be more comfortable overnight tonight. Coming up, I talked about dry weather, and it's almost here. We're just about to turn the page, and we could see an extended dry spell. We'll look at that and talk about how much rain we've seen in the forecast area coming up.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Well, this week is National Police Week, and in Baldwin County, a number of agencies came out for the annual Law Enforcement Memorial Service.
Yeah, and those who lost their lives serving our community were remembered and celebrated. Hal Sherrick takes us there.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Donning dress uniforms and wearing pride on their shoulders, dozens of command staff from the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office and police departments across the county gathered to pay their respects. A wreath was placed at the foot of the memorial as a reminder of those who've gone before. The passing of Deputy Bill Smith in 2021 is still fresh on the minds of many here. Smith drowned while trying to save others. Retiring County Commissioner Skip Gruber remembers his funeral and through the sadness carries with him warm thoughts of that day.
He was coming down the highway and you could see like a glare, you know, and it looked like a, you know, he was going into eternity. You know, it was magnificent. You know, just seeing that with all the lights and everything, looked like a big halo and everything. It was something, you know. And that's a good example. You know, he gave his life to save somebody else's.
Former police chief and public safety director for the city of Foley, David Wilson, dedicated his career to public service. As keynote speaker for the ceremony, Wilson thanked those present for that service and living up to the standards of the badge they wear. There are 15 names on the memorial wall here, and this service is dedicated to making sure none of them are ever forgotten.
These officers get between stranger and danger to protect them, and we lose officers doing it. So it's very costly. Freedom is not free. It's very costly to law enforcement, and the message was, don't forget our fallen, don't forget the agencies they left behind, and certainly don't forget the family members and friends they left behind.
Reporting from Robertsdale, Hal Sherrick, Fox 10 News.
And this is the 25th year the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office has hosted the Law Enforcement Memorial Service.
Well, dozens of people gathering at the Mission Anglican Church for Pensacola Police Department's annual memorial service. The ceremony is part of National Police Week. Several members of the community, including the Escambia County Sheriff's Office and the state's Attorney's Office, were present. Family members of some of the fallen officers participating in the roll call of the names, placing a rose near a wreath when their loved one's name was called. The chief telling us it is a somber time, but important for the families and the department.
Knowing that you're supported by a city, knowing that you will never be forgotten is so important to be able to go out there and do a wonderful, compassionate job. These guys are doing it every day, and so this is an important thing for us to put on every year.
Later tonight at 5, you will hear more from the chief about what he's learned from the lives of the fallen officers and how they lived. You'll also hear from one of the families about what today's ceremony meant for them.
Memorial Day is less than 2 weeks away, and a national movement dedicated to honoring fallen heroes is making several stops along the Gulf Coast. Carry the Load is coming to Mobile and Pensacola. It brings together veterans, first responders, and families for a walk with purpose. Fox 10 News is proud to sponsor the event, and they're free to attend. Organizers say walk-ups are welcome, but they do encourage people to go ahead and register ahead. That's so they can be included in the national movement's participation totals. You can find registration information right now on our website, fox10tv.com.
All right, taking a look out there right now with our Eastern Shore Toyota camera. Things are in good shape and we do not see any major delays, but it's still early in the day as we take a look at it. The only real concern would be some rain on the roads. We've got wet roads across the Florida Panhandle. The showers not over with over parts of the area. We are seeing dry conditions for the most part along I-10 out towards the Alabama line and the Mississippi line, I should say. As we look at what's happening here in Mobile, you can see a pretty smooth flow of travel at the Wallace Tunnel. It looks clear to Florida on I-10, and then checking out Pensacola here, we do have wet streets, especially 98 east of Gulf Breeze, but everything looks smooth. We do not see any major delays or problems. We'll check it out again as we get closer to the 5 o'clock rush hour.
All right, Jason, we're still here on Fox News at 4. When school lets out, does it feel like your paycheck just disappears? How to map out your summer now so you're not blindsided by childcare and camp cost and everything in between coming up. Also, a pair of suspected arsonists plan blows up in their faces and the wrong night rider gets slapped with a traffic violation. All of that is in today's Take a Look at This, but first let's head back outside. This is now in Orange Beach and you can see those dark clouds are hovering over the water there. But some sun's trying to poke through. Again, Jason has more on your forecast coming up after this, and we've got some more news too. We'll be right back.
Well, we are back to having the days of inflation outpacing salary increases. April's inflation rate clocking in at 3.8%. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And it's the highest it's been in 3 years. It's also the first time since 2023 inflation has been more of the average salary raise. That means most workers now have less spending power.
When school lets out, family budgets often take a major hit. Finding affordable, safe places for children to go while you work isn't just stressful, it can become a serious financial hurdle. In today's Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa looks at the summer squeeze.
Summer budgets can eat up a large portion of a paycheck. Sherry Dale, the vice president of financial education at Virginia Credit Union, says it's why it's so important to plan now before schools ever let out.
Thinking through what is your budget and plan the entire summer, even including your vacation, because that can eat away at your budget. So you really want to look at how much you can afford each week for your child's entertainment, for the camp.
She says camps can range in price from $200 a week all the way to $600 a week. She says don't forget about day camps offered by places like the neighborhood Boys and Girls Clubs or YMCAs. They might even offer scholarships or reduced pricing.
You also want to think through, okay, maybe this week they want to just stay at home. And what can I do that might be cheap for my child to stay at home, even if I am a working parent? This is where you want to tap all of your resources, whether it's neighbors, families, friends. Average cost of sitters can run from $20 to $25.
Dale says you never know if you don't ask. Talk to neighbors, friends, and family to see what they do so you can learn about summer options in your neighborhood. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
All right, here's what we're seeing with our Eastern Shore Toyota view. We've got a mixture of clouds and sun in Mobile. We still have some showers to track on radar. Believe it or not, the Panhandle still getting that rain. We've got a northeast breeze in Mobile and the dew point starting to lower a little. The drier air is working in. As soon as the sun sets, most of the shower activity will be gone. But right now, that is still limited to the Florida Panhandle, where we're seeing quite a bit in the way of showers around Pensacola, Destin, Navarre. It's very light, but there's still some shower activity there. And we've seen a few hit and miss showers in Baldwin County and Mobile County. You can see right up around Bay Minette, a couple of little light showers here, maybe just a brief sprinkle or light shower there. A few showers been working down across the bay towards Dolphin Island. Maybe a brief sprinkle or a light shower around Gulf Shores. Pensacola, we're seeing more, but there's not a whole lot to these little things as they're moving through. We're on the back side of this frontal zone, and this is just a little bit of wraparound moisture. You can see back into Crestview and around Fort Walton Beach, some some light rain moving across Eglin Air Force Base. I am looking at some rain here that's coming in off of Pensacola Bay, spreading into town. So if you have evening plans in Pensacola, you may want to have an umbrella just in case. We definitely have showers going on for about the next 30 or 45 minutes. So how much rain do we see last night? How about that? We got a good soaking. Areas in red were over 2.5 inches of rain, quite a bit along to the north and the south, but especially to the north of I-10 and some of the winters. Let's zoom in and I'll show you. Out south of Big Creek Lake, we picked up almost 5 inches of rain, 2 inches just near I-65 in Mobile, about 3 inches in Gateswood and Gulf Shores, 4 inches between Allentown and Jay. We do have a streak there with some rain. And here's what we're seeing. Our Futurecast model is indicating that we could get some showers popping up in the forecast area through the evening hours. You can see some rain there, and then it'll all be gone overnight. We go clear over the western half of the forecast area overnight tonight. A few upper clouds, but mainly sunny skies to start the day tomorrow across the Florida Panhandle. And we're going to go over to a dry trend for a while. And we've seen a huge dent in the rainfall deficit, which is now around 7.5 to 8 inches for the year, which is much better than the nearly 12-inch deficit we had to start the month of May. We are looking at about 7 dry days in a row here, with the exception of next week, a few spotty showers on Monday and Tuesday. We're going to have nice weather through the weekend, and our overnight lows will be a little cooler at times. Thursday night's low 59. Daytime highs will be kind of toasty though, and it looks like calm conditions across the area for about 5 or 6 days, and we get the opportunity to dry out and enjoy the greenery as the lawns are happy, the gardens are happy with the recent rainfall.
Sunshine and happiness all around. Thanks, Jason. All right, sheriff deputies in Michigan are investigating a pair of suspected arsonists who were caught on camera setting a cannabis store and themselves on fire. Jeremy Roth with today's Take a Look at This.
A pair of suspected arsonists got all the smoke, so to speak, when apparent plans to set a cannabis dispensary on fire blew up right in their faces. Surveillance video from the Pure Cannabis outlet in Monroe, Michigan, shows the suspect using a vehicle to smash their way into the business and then pouring what appeared to be gasoline throughout the store. Moments later, a huge fireball spooked the suspects and caught the clothes of one on fire. The pair then fled, fleet of flaming foot, into the night. Police say the store's sprinkler system took care of the fire before they arrived, and they are searching for suspects, and the case is under investigation. The store's management called the incident amateur hour and later joked on social media that yes, they are still open, and no, they still don't have a drive-through. It didn't look like anyone was on fire, but a pair of California Highway Patrol officers seemed suitably put out after getting doused in red fire retardant from above by a passing CAL FIRE air tanker. CHP Templeton shared the surprise moment and the ruby red aftermath, joking that the aerial tanker decided they were part of the scenery and gave them the, quote, full red carpet treatment. They also said wildfire response is unpredictable, messy, and occasionally stylish. Finally, someone must be red in the face after mistakenly sending a speeding ticket bill to Kit from Knight Rider. Yes, that Knight Rider. The Volo Museum in Illinois received a $50 citation claiming their replica of the famous talking car was spotted speeding in New York City. And while Kit is certainly capable of excessive speeds, the museum says their car has been on display inside the building for years. They believe it's a mistaken identity mix-up, likely linked to someone else's vanity plates, and have requested a hearing about the ticket. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
When we come back, Katy Perry is taking center stage for the U.S. opening ceremony during the World Cup in L.A. And that's not the only big announcement. We'll have that story for you, plus your entertainment headlines next.
The Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance.
We will headline the United States opening ceremony in Los Angeles.
The performance will be at SoFi Stadium just before the first roundup match between Paraguay and the United States. You can watch the games on the Fox Family Network starting June 11th.
Also, Shakira teased the official 2026 World Cup anthem last week on social media. The song called Die Die Day 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 will release next Thursday. It's the Colombian singer's second official World Cup song after Waka Waka, featured at the 2010 tournament in South Africa. Okay.
Fast and Furious universe is shifting, get it, shifting gears to the small screen. Vin Diesel revealing on Peacock that they're developing 4 new episodes for Fast and Furious. This will be a TV series, although NBC Universal is only saying that there's only 1 in the works.
Diesel will executive produce the project as the franchise continues expanding beyond the big screen ahead of the 11th film, Fast Forever, arriving in theaters in 2028.
Oh, I didn't know they had another one coming out.
I did not either. This is the series.
Longest running.
Yeah.
Is it the longest running franchise?
I feel like it's
for movies.
Well,
let's keep talking. I'll look it up.
Probably with most of the same actors, because think about it: Batman, Superman, Spider-Man's, those Avengers, all those.
Okay. Yeah.
But they changed
different Batmans.
Right.
Huh.
This has got to be one of them.
James Bond.
Oh, yeah, Bond. I was thinking of that one too.
Producer says.
Okay.
Huh.
I think that their movies are pretty decent every time they come out. So they're doing something slightly right.
She just said Godzilla as well.
Oh.
I don't remember. Yeah, okay. Next up?
Yeah. I might watch the show. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, we're going to dive into the big breaking stories we're working on for your Most Local News at 5.
And we also have this story.
Votes cast in those congressional races on May the 19th will be tabulated and made public. However, per Act 2026-612, votes for those races will be void.
Yeah, very important information if you're voting in the state of Alabama. We've got our continuing coverage of Alabama's congressional map shakeup, what it means. Next, we are live at the Capitol with how this last-minute change could impact when and how you vote for your member of Congress.
And we're tracking your beach outlook, and it looks like we're going to see better beach weather tomorrow across the Gulf Coast. We expect to see partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 80s with a low risk of rip currents. I'll have your complete forecast coming up.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 News.
Well, it is official. Governor Kay Ivey says Alabama voters living in U.S. House Districts 1, 2, and 6, and 7 will have a special primary election on August 11th.
Yeah, the announcement comes less than a day after the Supreme Court paused a lower court order that blocked Alabama from using a court-drawn map featuring 2 largely black districts. Alabama political correspondent Jessica Umbro is live at the Capitol, where the Secretary of State just spoke with members of the media about this.
Yeah, Jessica, he was very specific.
He was, and he really wanted to be specific on one major point. It may be very complicated to how we got to this point, but he says everybody should still be going out to vote on May 19th, and that's because all of these other races that are not impacted by these court decisions are still going to be on the ballot, and everything in that regard is functioning as normal. So I wanted to walk through a little bit about what these changes are. We talked about these maps a lot, but I really wanted to show you them. So take a look at your screen. We've got both of these maps up there. You've got on the left side, that's the court-drawn map, and the one on the right is the 2023 legislature approved map that we are now using. If you live in those areas highlighted for districts 1, 2, 6, or 7, this will impact you. Those are the 4 districts who will have a special primary election nearly 3 months after the May 19th primary on August 11th. You'll vote in all of the other races on May 19th. Statewide office, local elections. This is just about seats for the U.S. House of Representatives. But Secretary Allen says because those ballots have already been printed out, you will still see all of those votes and all of those names for House Districts 1, 2, 6, and 7, and they'll be counted, but they won't officially count towards this general election.
Votes cast in those congressional races on May the 19th will be tabulated and made public. However, per Act 2026-612, votes for those races will be void.
The main focus is organizing and mobilizing, turning the vote out. A lot of these politicians are in office not because of who voted for them, but because of who did not vote.
That was Randy Kelly with the Alabama Democratic Party. Democrats, of course, have been very outspoken against this effort to change the maps. And so with all of this change, we are going to see a little bit of a change in the qualifying period. We covered back in January when candidates had to let the Republican and Democratic parties know that they were running for office. That's now been extended to end of May for both of the major parties and for independent candidates and minor parties up until that August 11th new primary date. So we could see some moving around as far as who will end up being on that August 11th ballot. That's not to be confused with what you'll see on May 19th. As Secretary Allen said, those votes will be counted and made public, but they will not count. So that's really the big thing to know about that. But we'll be updating with what these candidates decide in the coming days and weeks. Live at the Capitol, Jessica Umbro, back to you.
Yeah, and as Jessica said, we are hearing from some of those candidates and whether they will stay in that congressional district or move. We're going to have that and more on this on Fox 10 News at 5. I'm going to have the latest for you coming up.
Well, we still have some sunshine in places. I know there are other locations like Pensacola where it's not so sunny. It's gloomy, but you can see the sun there with our Admiral camera here in Mobile. Things look good, and we are keeping track of your forecast on the Fox 10 weather app. We do have a clearing situation as we go into this evening. We're also monitoring radar where we are seeing the showers across the Florida Panhandle still. They will hang around for a couple of more hours. Checking out our day planner for Pensacola tomorrow, 65 degrees early. We'll warm up to near 82 by the afternoon, and no rain out there tomorrow in Pensacola. I know you've been stuck with the showers today. In Mobile, we will be nice as well with an even cooler start. In fact, you'll probably notice how nice it feels tomorrow morning at 63 degrees with a light northerly breeze. And these little cool spells between the fronts get more and more unusual as we go through the month of May and into early June, so enjoy it while we have it. Tomorrow, full sunshine, highs in the mid-80s with low humidity in the afternoon. We can't totally shake the rain. There are a few isolated showers over the western side of the area in Mobile County and Baldwin County. Not a lot left of that now. And then we have light showers here across the coastal sections of the Panhandle still ongoing. Very light rain and pesky rain, kind of a gloomy finish to the day. We are looking at abundant sunshine starting tomorrow, and that will continue into Thursday. Partly cloudy skies on Friday. We're not really concerned about rain this week. It looks like the atmosphere is going to be stable. Daytime highs will be in the mid-80s, and the nights are going to be just about perfect. Overnight lows in the upper 50s and lower 60s for the next several nights. So a decent looking forecast for the Gulf Coast region. We'll have your weekend outlook coming up.
And also coming up, a sub shop found the perfect way to skip the overhead speakers thanks to their very own singing sub guy. Why customers say his voice keeps them coming back for seconds. That's when Fox News at 4 returns. We've got our crews working on your breaking news updates and follow-ups for Fox News at 5.
First, a preliminary hearing today for 2 Mobile men accused of sparking a house explosion during a drive-by shooting. Next, the details from the prosecutors.
Also, a family searching for answers nearly a year after their loved one in Washington or vanished in Washington County. We'll have more on the efforts to keep the case alive.
And we have an update on the upcoming Mobile Arena. You're going to hear what was discussed at City Council today when Fox News at 5 starts in less than half an hour and 15 minutes really from right now.
All right, here's what we're seeing as we take a look at our satellite radar picture here. We are looking at clearing skies over the western side of the area. Still a few puffy clouds out there. Some of them have some pretty dark bases to them. They kind of have the dark looking clouds, and occasionally we've seen some light showers, but a lot of that's starting to break up. In Pensacola, Destin, Fort Walton Beach, it's been raining most of the day, so still some light showers going on now. Moving into Metro Pensacola, got a band of rain pulling through, maybe a little gap in it, and then another batch could swing over from Garcon on point. As we look at Mobile County, there are some light sprinkles in the south part of the county, but most of it's over with. Gulf Shores looks like one more little band of rain kind of coming through now here as we zoom in. The radar not showing much. I mean, this is really light stuff coming through Pensacola, but it's enough to keep the streets wet. Highway 98 going all the way over towards the Brooks Bridge and into Destin. Checking out Fort Walton Beach right now with some showers in the area. All right, here is the high-res modeling here as we take a look at the overnight hours tonight, and things dry out and they clear off some, especially over the western side of the forecast area. We're expecting to see pretty much full sunshine tomorrow as well. And we had enough rain lately, and I think it's going to be a good opportunity to enjoy what's ahead, which will be a drier trend. Temperatures in the mid-80s with comfortable afternoons and cool mornings. 62 on Thursday morning, 59 on Friday morning. Then into the weekend we go with warm temperatures and sunshine, mid-80s on Saturday and Sunday. And we're kind of backing off on the rain a little bit, pushing it off a little further into next week. Right now, Monday looks partly cloudy. Tuesday, maybe an isolated shower with overnight lows starting to come up a little bit. And forecast looks good. I mean, we've got about 6 or so dry days. We still have a rainfall deficit, but I think our short-term water needs are met. Coming up on Fox 10 News, we'll continue to monitor radar at Fox 10 News at 5.
All right, thank you, Jason. Have you ever heard the phrase, sing for your supper?
Nope. There's a manager, though, at a sub shop in St. Louis. Have you heard that?
I don't know if I have.
Yeah, no. This is a sub shop, though, in St. Louis, and he sings all the time where he is loading up the sandwiches.
Steve Harris shows us how he's making the work fun.
Walk into the Penn Station East Coast Subs in Lake St. Louis.
Are we going to be dining in, taking out?
And you'll hear them take orders.
Large Dagwood with mayo.
And fix food. But what you won't hear is overhead music. They don't need it because they've got Austin Moore. Also known as the singing sub guy.
I've been singing my whole life, ever since I was a little kid.
He's the general manager who belts out tunes while he builds sandwiches.
One day I just came in and it just started to happen, you know, and then, you know, my crew members, they started bopping their heads to it a little bit, and then, you know, some customers that they complimented me.
He's even in some online reviews.
These are just some good-looking sandwiches, dude.
Austin's been with the company for 10 years now.
Doing a good job.
And his encouraging words.
You look really good.
And melodious meal making.
Gotta change my answering machine now that I'm alone.
Make for a merry workplace.
It's lovely. It's amazing. I love it.
It always keeps things interesting on the line when we're working.
Because right now it says that we can't come to the phone.
Whenever I hear him singing, is perfectly awesome.
It motivates me, and it honestly just makes a better work atmosphere.
And I know it makes no sense. She walked out the door. It's the only way I hear your voice anymore. It creates a nice little upbeat, you know, place for people to come and work, and they feel like that they, you know, have a good time here.
The crooning cook has auditioned for American Idol and The Voice.
I guess what's really next is, you know, just wherever it can take me.
But for now, whether it's pop,
I found a woman stronger than anyone I know,
or rap,
I walked to Penn Station feeling real hungry, thinking about their subs, they all look so yummy.
A cover,
we are just kids when we fell in love,
or an original composition,
turkey provolone.
Customers can catch him breaking into song.
And I'm so sick of love songs.
While they break bread.
I will not give you up.
He likes Neo. How about that?
A lot
so
of
sick
Neo.
of love songs.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That wouldn't work here.
I couldn't sing all day, Shelby.
No.
You wouldn't want to hear.
I would be like, I gotta concentrate on this story. I can't do it.
Something like that. All right. Well, speaking of singing, we do want to hear from you.
Yes, we want to find out if you can sing the national anthem. Fox 10 and our parent company, Gray Media, are launching the Star Spangled Sing-Off, a contest inviting Americans to submit their best a cappella rendition of the Star Spangled Banner.
The winner gets an all-expenses-paid trip to Nashville to record their performance. It's going to air on Fox 10 and our Gray stations across the country. It's part of the We the People initiative to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday. Go ahead and get those entries in now through May 31st.
Just head to fox10tv.com to enter, and there's a little link that says the official rules. We had somebody ask how old you had to be, so just check those rules out. The link is at the top of our page, just above the Fox 10 logo, if you want to submit.
Who here is a good singer?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right?
I don't know. I feel like we've got somebody that can sing. Genevieve or Emily or somebody.
Emily Cochran?
I don't know. I'm throwing her name out there.
Okay.
We'll see. Ashlyn, maybe? I don't know if Ashlyn.
She can? Okay. She can. Okay.
Okay. Victoria can sing. Theater.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We need to have a sing-off, a Fox 10 sing-off. Rescued from a Wisconsin breeding and research facility and now filling sun, grass, and belly rubs in Atlanta for the first time. It's a new leash on life for these pups. Their story after the break.
A shelter in Atlanta is helping 20 beagles that were rescued from a controversial research facility.
Joshua Skinner was there when 2 of them got some fresh air for the first time.
It's a brand new leash on life for these beagles.
Hi, guys.
2 of the nearly 1,500 beagles rescued from Ridgeland Farms breeder and research facility in Wisconsin after animal rights activists raised concerns about potential mistreatment. And this is the first day of their lives to really be outside.
Your first belly rub? You're not ready yet?
Jennifer Siegel runs Bosley's Place, a neonatal dog rescue that doesn't usually deal with these elderly dogs.
Jackie, she's a 5-year-old beagle, and then we have this senior mama.
Who doesn't even have a name, just going by a number.
C492.
Siegel collected 20 dogs and brought them to Atlanta, where they'll spend the next couple of weeks getting medical treatment.
They all have yeast infections in their ears. They've all got torn up paws.
Both dogs recently had puppies and had been heavily used for breeding. Now it's about getting them healthy enough to live the good life.
We're going to find them amazing homes. They're going to be able to live a life that every dog deserves.
Siegel says the 20 dogs should be available to adopt in about 2 weeks, and that she's already been inundated with applications. Bosley's Place is also taking donations to help cover the cost of rescuing and caring for the beagles. But for now, it's just about getting that afternoon nap in the sun.
Patience and love is what they need right now. And
in Midtown, Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 News starts now.
Our Shelby Myers is in the studio now with your breakdown.
And Shelby, what do voters need to know?
Well, Cameron and East, Governor Ivey has announced that special primary election will be held August 11th, and that's going to cover districts 1, 2, 6, and 7. So here's what you need to know. If you live in Mobile and Baldwin counties, your vote for Congress next Tuesday will not count. You're going to need to head back to the polls August 11th to pick your representative under a new map. A new qualifying period for candidates in those districts opens on May 20th and closes at 5 p.m. on May 22nd. We already know Rhett Marcus, who is running in District 1, is going to switch his campaign efforts to Congressional District 2. Here's a look at exactly how the districts have changed. So on the left side, the overturned map combined West Mobile County, Baldwin County, along with the Wiregrass in Congressional District 1. On the right, the new map, Alabama is now allowed to use August 11th, reunites all of Mobile and Baldwin counties, Escambia and Covington counties too in District 1. And check out District 2 on the right. It's cut in half under the new map, where it once combined the city of Mobile with the Black Belt counties and Montgomery. District 2 now covers virtually the entire southeastern corner of the state. Many Democrats believe this redistricting weakens the power of black voters. Republican candidate for District 1, Jerry Carl, says he's hopeful this new vote will give Republicans an edge in Congress. But Mobile City Councilman Corey Penn says the new map leaves black voters underrepresented.
I think it's very promising, but the Republicans have got to get out and vote. If we don't get out and vote, it's all in vain anyway. I think we got a strong chance of obviously taking District 1 and also District 7. That's the second minority district, as we refer to it right now. That's basically a 50-50 district. That's drawn up to be about 50% Republican and 50% Democrat.
People want to see representation. When you see that African Americans represent almost 30% in the state of Alabama, and then you don't see that type of representation on a congressional level, that's a problem. And I think people need to make their voice heard.
And that leads us to a big question mark in District 2. Incumbent Democratic Representative Shamari figures of Mobile could remain in District 2 or run in District 1, which now includes his home city of Mobile. He says the Supreme Court's decision to overturn the previous map is, quote, setting the stage for Alabama to go back to the 1950s and 60s in terms of black political representation in the state, end quote. We have reached out to Figueres' campaign and are expecting to hear from him this evening. Now, another important note for voters, there's not going to be a runoff in that August 11th special congressional election. So whoever earns the most votes outright will win. It's a lot. We're going to have this posted on fox10tv.com and continue covering it. In the studio tonight, Shelby Myers, Fox 10 News.